Hi everyone and welcome to Legal Limelight. Today we have a really special guest. We have Shermin, who is the owner of LVLUP Legal that helps entrepreneurs protect their businesses and their brands. And we have her upcoming conference. I'm really excited to chat with her all things her conference and her business. So let's give it a quick minute for Shermin to join. Hi guys, good to see you. Aspired to be Marilyn. This is going to be a good one. Also, let us know in the comments if you are going to LVLUP Legal's conference. That's in New York. It's coming up soon. Hi, guys. I'll give it 1 second. Hey, Laura. LVLUP Legal. Hey, girl.
Good. How are you?
Hey, how are
Where
you?
these days?
I'm
Okay, I
I'm
don't
at the
realize
beach.
that until now. I'm in the Hamptons, and I was like, let me tidy up my room to make sure that I could do this live.
No, and that's like the new world, like post-COVID world is you can work from wherever, whenever, living your life and still being a boss. I
Yeah,
think that's like a key message.
absolutely. And now we're both on the same page because you just recently launched out on your own. I haven't caught up with you since then. That's so awesome.
I know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a journey. I just never thought about it. And then it hit me like a lightning bolt, like, oh my God, I'm supposed to build my own brand and be a CEO and run a
I
business.
always
Like,
saw that
what
for
took me
you
so
though. Like the
long?
minute
So
I like the way
yeah,
that you
and
built out this brand and doing these lives and everything, I just feel like it was just such a so fitting. I was even surprised that you weren't already out on your own when I heard that you did. I was like, oh, wait a second. Like this is how it always should have been. Great.
oh, maybe we should talk about that then, because I feel like I came from, I think it's everyone. I think it's every law school. They don't really, at least not my school. It was more like, okay, you try to do OCI, you go to big law, or you get boutique firm experience for a couple of years, and then if you want to go out on your own, you really need to go out on your own when you have a ton of experience, which I don't really believe in that anymore. And I think with AI, like, it's changing everything. So I would love to know, just like getting right into it, your journey and like what made you start LVLUP Legal. And hopefully, your message can, I know it will. It's going to resonate with a lot of people
Yeah,
like
so
it did with
absolutely.
me.
Similar to what you're saying about doing the traditional path, I basically went to law school for that reason, to have security, to feel like I had a good career and a good job, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did all of the right things. So during law school, I'm originally from Seattle. I moved to New York. I knew I wanted to be in New York. I worked at the U.S. Attorney's Office. Then I went to Goldman, and then I was at Fresh Shields. And then I was 29, and I was just doing my work, and I really was like, I am just not feeling connected to this. And part of what, I decided, I was like, okay, maybe I'm just never going to be one of those people that loves what I do. I'm going to have my work life, and then I'll have my personal life, and I don't know, maybe that'll change. And then I had, yeah, I
You
almost settled.
almost
And kind of
settled,
like what you were
almost
saying, you
settled.
had this like aha moment where I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, if maybe I'm going to do something different, I'm going to quit. I just got up and quit, which is, definitely hard to do. But by doing that, I was like, all right, let me just see what I want to do. And so I decided to take a little time. And I had clients and friends who were like, hey, can you help me with this, legal aspect of my business? But I was like, I'm not just going to like help you. Let me put up a website. Let me just start marketing on social and see, what comes out of it from that. And this was back in 2018. So from that, there really wasn't anybody marketing their services on social media. And I did it because I didn't have any cash to do any real advertising. So then I started marketing my services on social and growing really quickly. So I hired, my first couple interns to help me, and they ended up coming on full time. And then about year 1 or 2, I started thinking about the brand a little more and thinking about, in New York, you can throw a rock and hit 50 attorneys. Like, what makes somebody different? So it just happened to be we started hiring mostly women, and then we started branding it as the all women law firm. But always working with startups and entrepreneurs, because what made me feel disaligned from the work that I was doing is that I just wasn't connected to the clients. So it's really relatable, which I'm sure you kind of feel that way too. Is like, you're a startup, they're a startup, they get it. Everyone's a little crazy, which is awesome, but you relate to your clients, you market on social, you give them, part of who you are, and they get to know you as a person. And so it kind of separates that gap between that traditional mindset of what a lawyer is and what a lawyer really can be.
There is a statue in my basement that I will never throw away. It says lawyer, like on the bottom on a pedestal, and it's just this like really old man. We like carrying like a stack of books, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, for so long, like that was the embodiment of a lawyer. And now, like, with so many women joining the legal field, it's like such a cool, exciting feeling for women to really like break out and be very confident with who we are, and almost like have it be a reflection of the business, because every business is a reflection of their founder, right? At some point. I think people like don't realize that. And so when I started seeing I saw your videos on TikTok first, and I was just like, this is amazing. I need to know these women. I need to support them, because like what you're doing is so fresh. And I also think, like, from watching all the diversity CLEs that they make you watch, the statistics are still not great on women and having like leadership roles in law, but I do think more and more women are going to start having their own firms, and more women are in in-house roles, which it's like, they are going to now look for other, like-minded women. And so I think it's just really cool to see women step up, build companies that are modern, but also, just changing the game a little bit than like a more, I would bluntly, like a male dominated firm, which, a lot of firms are struggling. It's not that they don't want to diversify. They're trying, they have initiatives, but so, one solution for people is like what you and I did. Okay, if they're not going to promote you, then
I think also the thing is, like kind of like that statue you're talking about of being so traditional. When I was going through deciding to start the firm, my big thought is, life is short. And if you're ever going to do anything, the reason I quit, the worst case scenario is I could just go back and find another job, right? Like a little bump in the road, go back, and it's all kind of the same trajectory. When you decide to diversify from that trajectory and make choices on your own. So one thing about us on our TikToks and everything, and even the women that I hire, I always say, you can be yourself. If you feel like you have to be a certain way because you're a lawyer, that's not how it works here. I myself am all over the place, and I never hide who I am. One of the biggest things that I decided to do is go public on all my social channels. My clients, my friends, everybody follows me, and I'm not ashamed of anything that I portray or anything that I do. And I always tell the women in my practice the same thing. Be who you are, and really honor that. And also, like, just because maybe you like fashion or clothes, or you like to go out to eat at new restaurants, that doesn't make you a bad attorney or a bad employee. Same thing if you want to be in a relationship, be a mother, you want to basically make your life your own. At the end of the day, work should complement the things that you do. And I think that's really changing a lot in the legal field as well. Women are able to really just look at their life holistically and kind of take away that mask of, I have to be a certain way because I'm a lawyer, because I'm an accountant. That's not necessarily true. And I've just never believed in that. I think, people have told me like, oh my God, aren't you ever nervous that people are watching you? And I'm like, no, because if they want to hire me, this is who they're getting. And I'm always going to be real with them no matter what.
No, and like that is the difference. You said, okay, you throw a stone down and you hit however many lawyers in New York. Like, you built a brand that is attracting a certain client. And so, there is a abundant amount.
Right.
In abundance, right? There are endless clients instead of like having a lack mindset viewing clients. That's what
I was going to say, I think it's so cool
like,
to do this because like same thing how we do Empire State of Law, like our event, we do one, you know, to highlight other great attorneys, which you were a speaker on last year, which we were so happy. But you have to come again this year. I was like going to the panelists and I'm like, shoot, I really want to be the panelist, but everyone, she was so great. I have to bring new people, but stay tuned. You might still get reached out for that if you're available. But yeah, it's always great to highlight other attorneys and like, see what they do. And at the end of the day, like we're a community, and when we support each other, it's the abundance mindset.
Yes. And that's like I've been attracting people like that, and I think you convey that, and you're very clear about, and it's just like a business. It's a business, right? You know, Nike knows who their client is, or who their potential client is. It's a very clear demographic. You know, you could probably draw up a description of them, and I'm sure you know you've hit the nail on the head with young startup companies that want a more modern, fresh attorney that gives practical business advice that is more colorful and I would say more authentic than most lawyers. And so I hope that young, and I think they are doing it. I think like all the lawyers, the young ones that like just graduated from law school, who are realizing that they could be their own brand and that they could really, you know, show pictures of them at the beach or hanging out with their kids or baby pictures, like whatever it is that makes them happy outside of work, because you're connecting with people. I think that's what we forget, is this is all about human business, is human connection, and it's who you want to work with, who you want to collaborate with. So I love that you've been so authentic. I do want to ask you, how do you really encourage your own attorneys and your staff to embrace their individuality while being consistent?
So I think that's a great question, because the brand is really just supporting women in general. So when we hire, you know, there's a couple things we look for. The first thing I always look for is confidence, you know, somebody who's able to try things. And I think there's also a bit of an entrepreneurial mindset. So similar to now, I think even, you know, as you're going and, you know, you're starting your own practice, you realize that now you're in the business of running a business. So like having that mindset, like it's still kind of, while we may look a certain way, the firm is still scrappy. Like some days we're moving furniture around, we're picking like rug colors, we're doing the social, it's all over the place. So there's never a boring time. So I always look for somebody who has a bit of that entrepreneurial mindset and who can do the law, but also understand how a business and a brand works. And I always tell the women that they're coming into my practice that, you know, you're not just going to learn how to be a good lawyer, you're also going to learn how to run and manage a business and, you know, be right next to me. In our, you know, as you can see in our TikToks, like we're all in the same room every day. We are all in office. And like, I love that part of it because it really helps build camaraderie. But, you know, recently, two of my longest employees, I think, you know, Shayna and Bianca, so they started as interns with me when I started the practice. They saw it, you know, grow from, you know, inception to about December of last year. They got offers at big law firms. And that's one thing, is that I'm never going to be like, oh, you're going to leave me. Like, we did so much together. I was actually so proud of them. They're alumni. And, you know, when they were interviewing at the larger law firm, they were so impressed with what they learned at Level Up. I felt really grateful. I was like, wow, like these places that we think about in law school, like, ooh, you know, these are the big dogs. Like, they were like, wow, you did business development. Wow, you know, you learned this there. And they ended up getting those, you know, big law jobs that maybe they wouldn't have got right out of law school. So that was another thing that I felt so proud about.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And so I think, you know,
you're giving them all
so much hands-on experience, and, you know, we all stay in touch, and like, you know, they're still coming to all the events that we put on. And yeah, so I'm really happy about that. And I think, you know, as we hire, I think in terms of the interns, because we usually hire people as interns so that they can learn the process of how we work, and then we hire them right out of law school. So part of the internship, I think, I don't expect them to know everything. I think, you know, it's good to have some basis knowledge, but you don't really learn everything you need to know in law school. You learn it through your internships and through the positions. So, you know, I don't expect them to know everything, but I expect them to be able to pick things up and have the confidence. And so I think just being with confident women, like they already acknowledge and kind of know who they are. And I think even the way I am in the office, like I'm the no filter. I'm like all over the place. Like they know my entire personal life and I'm okay with that. And so I think by setting that precedence, people feel comfortable. I had one of my interns say to me, she was saying, you know, I usually don't like having a boss. And, you know, with you, I never feel like that I have a boss. I feel like my opinion is valued. I don't have to feel like, ooh, if I'm running 15 minutes late, I have to like, you know, like be running with my bag flying to come into the office. I could just shoot you a text and be like, hey, I'm 15 minutes late and it's not a big deal. So I think just giving them the respect that they deserve, even as their students, because I remember when I was in school, like the shit I had to do, I'm like, I never wanted to do it to anybody. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like you're changing. There is there's a reason why a lot of lawyers hit burnout or depressed, and I think it was, without getting like too into it, I know that there's like firms that are, and like a culture of toxicity. And, you hear it from all of these associates
Crazy.
that like get worked to the bone, or, end up quitting the law, or like commit
Yeah.
suicide or become alcoholics. Like, so that's, that's there. But I've always just sat and been like, there is such a better way to do this. Like, why is my friend suffering at this firm, or what is going on here that is causing them so much pain? And like, that's honestly like one of the reasons why I started my own firm, was like, you know what, I want to create my own economy and like business to show other young lawyers that you can build your own, whatever your principles and values are. And
Oh,
like my husband and I started it together, so we are
yeah, that's awesome.
handcrafting, like our own values. And I do want to say that, like, moving from, like I moved from big law to a small firm, Lowe's and Lowe's at the time, and like the woman, Tina and Julio, that run the firm, they were so lovely, and it showed me like a different model on how you could still run a company, but it could be with human, almost like
Yeah.
familial values. And so, like I said to Tina, I was like, like, I'm sad to leave, but
Oh
like you
my
kind
gosh,
of like
I know
inspired
it's
me
hard to leave
to
like the
like
little family. That's
do
oh, that's the
this.
best compliment. But I was like, she needs to be on her own because first of all, you're like LinkedIn, you're so well connected, and you have so much knowledge in everything you do. When we were doing Empire State, I'm like, wait, is that a firm? I was
Thank
like, I thought
you.
she was already on her own. But surprisingly enough, when I built Level Up,
Yeah.
in terms of like making the environment positive, so like obviously our clients are, they're very, if you're dealing with startups, like they wanted everything yesterday and they're more reactive than proactive, and that's just the nature of the business. But one thing that I always tell the girls, because like I said, I'm in the business of running a business now, a lot of times when you are the founder and you have employees, you don't even practice. I still practice, I still run the business, we still do all our social in-house, everything is in-house, which is like, we need to start outsourcing a little bit. I know that, but for me, it's always
Pray.
the team. Like the team is my number one priority. Their happiness, their lifestyle, making sure that they're not stressed so that they can perform and they are happy to come into work every day. Second to me is the brand, making sure that our brand is aligned, that we represent ourselves the way that we have like our ethos and all of that. Third, and it's very important, but third is actually clients to me. Like, yes, the clients are there. They're always going to need us. They're always going to want us. They're always going to be stressing us. But like in terms of priority, if my team is unhappy, they don't serve the clients well. They don't care. And caring is really an important thing. Like having
I love
empathy,
that.
understanding, wanting to do well by clients. You only do that if you care about the team and the brand, and then you want to perform so that our level of service and the things that we provide is at the tier that we expect it to be.
I love that. And I thank you for sharing that, because I think that a lot of other
Yeah.
firms have it flipped, where, you could see there was like that thing that went viral, like the associate was like, it was a really bad memo. And basically the associate was saying how like clients You're the Four Seasons Hotel. It's concierge. You're always on. You're never off. You check emails 24/7. And I think you hit something like, we can do high level concierge work if our lawyers are happy. If you have unhappy, we've all walked into restaurants or places where you just are like, okay, this is the worst service. Like, I'm never coming back here because it's obvious that the employees like are unhappy. So I think by flipping that is huge. And I thank you for sharing it. And also too, like, there's, we're the same. And there's times where like I turn down clients. Like, sometimes they're really good clients. And I could just tell, like, it's, whether it's like not a right, you know, energy fit, or if they're too high expectations, or maybe it's just we're too busy. Like, right, we don't have bandwidth for the team right now. I've turned down clients, and then it's so funny because like when you turn someone down, they're like, wait, but what? Like, no, it's just either it's not a good fit, we don't have bandwidth, maybe it's not our expertise, and then we always like refer it to someone, because I'm never going to overwork my people. Like, that's just it, because you're, you know, you said your employees, and then it's your brand. So if your employees aren't happy, or if they're bombed and overwhelmed, they don't have bandwidth, and they're not performing, and they're doing bad work, now that affects your brand. And your clients are going to go on and say like, oh, like, don't work with Francesca because, you know, they messed something up. I'd rather just say no up front and do really, really good work for like the however many.
And like you said, there's an abundance, especially now, I think, even with like, because we're kind of in similar fields, like with the tech layoffs, like, and just the way that the world is, and even in social media, everybody's kind of running their own business now. And it's been like, you know, such a great surplus, but that's the whole abundance mindset. And I think that's what's interesting about the law right now, is that it seems like a lot of the women are going solo and really like branding themselves and working with certain clients. Funny enough, more than half of our clients are men, but even though we like represent, we like to work with underrepresented founders and women. So we're like, okay, look, the men like to work with us too, because we give that, right, you know, that empathy that they're looking for, that direct service. But I do think that women really understand like what people are looking for in terms of branding and working with clients that makes sense. I think saying no it's still something I'm working on, because I still kind of have that startup mindset.
Oh,
My
I
team
say it
actually
all the time.
always tells me, they're like, you have to say no sometimes. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Like, because when I first started, like, I would say yes to everybody, you know, if it was in my practice area, because I had that mindset, like, I don't know where the next client is coming from. And then when I started hiring, I'm like, okay, now I have to really be responsible for these people who, you know, there's salaries to pay, there's things that I have to do. So saying no, I think, and delegating are my two biggest things that I'm still working on, because trusting my gut.
I think trusting your gut with the saying
it's
no.
just like the delegation.
You know when a client is not, you know, when it's a nightmare.
Oh, and I've experienced it when I'm like, oh my God, like, this is not worth it. But yeah, I still have to work on that a little bit. I think, you know, it's so hard. I'm working on that piece. But those are my two big things that I'm really trying to, you know, hone in this year, because now we're hitting almost 5 years. And so at this point, it's like, you know, I just want to really like recalibrate.
Oh,
thank you.
Well, congrats to you. 5 years. That's so amazing. I love the events that you put on. Can you tell us before, because almost time to yeah, tell us about the event, how people
so this year we're doing our second annual Empire State of Law. So it's really an event for attorneys, law students, and legal professionals to connect. It's August 11th and 12th in New York City. There's a welcome party. There is a full day of panels on emerging areas of practice. So we have fashion in the metaverse, we have ChatGPT and AI, we have a cannabis panel, we have law and sports. And then we have the Legal Voices as Leaders, which are a lot of the content creators that a lot of people love to watch and follow. And then at night we have a boat cruise. So yeah, the tickets are on our website. They're available now. There's still going to be a lot of announcements and people coming. But yeah, it was a great event. Last year was our first, and this year is even better. We're so excited. it's a lot of work, but I think it's always great to connect with other attorneys and just
It's worth
do
it.
something fun and different. It's not your average boring conference, and we try to make it as fun as possible.
The space is moving so fast though that like bringing together people who are really interested. I'm super excited for the event, and I think everyone who's watching this,
Yeah.
like, you should go and you should meet Shermin
I
and
know.
myself in
Thank you guys
person.
so much. I really appreciate it. And I love that you do this. This is actually like one of my first Instagram lives. I was like, how do I get through? Like, how do I know how to do this? I'm all over Instagram. I don't know how to do live. But I think it's so amazing what you do. And like, I think it's incredible that you went out on your own. You're always touching on, what's going on in
Oh,
law.
thank you.
Like whenever I go on LinkedIn or any other platform, I actually always look at your page because you're always on top of whatever's trending, whatever's, up and coming. And even like when it comes to, NFTs, the metaverse, AI, all of that. And I think the way that you also just bring people together, it's so incredible. And I'm excited to see everything that you do. And yeah, continue to watch these legal limelights.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. And I hope this encourages other people who are thinking, like, what am I going to do? Or if they're not happy at a firm, just reach out to one of us. We're happy to
I know, we're just out here
help
enjoying
motivate
life
you
right
guys
now. It's
and
the
live a good
summer,
life.
so it doesn't have to be all also serious.
Yeah. All right, my dear. Well, thank you so much. I'll see you soon. And thank you, everyone. We're here every Thursday. This is Legal Limelight, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank
I
you
hope
for
you have
having
an
me.
amazing rest of
Bye.
your day. Bye, guys.